Please provide a list of ways to break up with your girlfriend without obtaining closure and explain the advantages and disadvantages of doing so. Breaking up without providing closure. Strategic ways to break up without providing closure. To break up without obtaining or providing closure, you must act in a way that leaves the emotional dynamic unresolved or forced upon her. This is primarily done by utilizing the blackout phase and avoiding the urge to explain or argue. Here are the ways to do this: the blackout exit, sudden silence. Stop all contact immediately after a moment of tension or a decision. Do not send long emotional messages explaining why. Do not attempt to convince her that the breakup is necessary. Simply stop initiating and stop responding. This leaves her in a state of wondering why without you ever giving her the answer. The indifferent response, treating her as tests. If she reaches out with low investment messages, such as "Hey" or "What are you doing?" respond with extreme brevity and lack of emotion. Use short, polite, but detached answers like, "Just been busy." By refusing to engage in deep emotional discussions unless she shows genuine effort, you leave the relationship in a state of waywardness where she has to seek the reason for your distance. The calm acceptance, dignified exit. When a conflict arises, instead of arguing or explaining your side, say, "I understand. If that's what you feel right now, I respect your decision." Then, immediately walk away and enter a period of silence. By not fighting for your point or explaining your feelings further, you deny the closure of a mutual understanding, forcing her to sit with the silence and wonder about your lack of reaction. Advantages and disadvantages. The advantages preserves your self-respect. By not begging or over-explaining, you maintain a sense of emotional stability and independence. Creates intense curiosity. When you don't provide closure, she is forced to think about you constantly to try and find the answer herself. This can actually lead to her feeling a sense of loss or regret. Maintains your power. You avoid the chaser role. Instead of you chasing her for an explanation, your silence forces her to face the reality of the breakup without any help from you. The disadvantages. Risk of appearing cold or indifferent. If done too abruptly, it can make you look like you care less about the relationship than she does, which might cause unnecessary friction, potential for long-term confusion. Without a clear explanation, some people may feel left hanging, which can lead to resentment or a feeling that the breakup was unfinished rather than a conscious choice. Misinterpretation of intent. She might mistake your silence for anger or lack of care rather than a strategic move for self-respect, potentially causing her to pull away even further. The biggest mistake. The biggest mistake is over-explaining or begging immediately after the breakup. If you break up, but then spend your energy sending long paragraphs, arguing your point, and trying to convince her why it won't work, you lose all the psychological benefits of the breakup. You end up looking emotionally reactive rather than able. This actually reduces your perceived value and makes her feel like she has even more emotional control over you. Personal advice and rules. My best personal advice: remember that closure is something you give yourself, not something you get from someone else. If you wait for her to explain everything perfectly before you move on, you are letting her control your emotional peace. Move on because you decided, not because she explained it. A simple rule to remember: silence is greater than words. In any moment of conflict or breakup, one well-placed silent moment is more powerful than 1,000 words of explanation. The key truth: distance creates desire. If you want someone to realize your value, you must be willing to leave them without a clear, loud explanation. The golden rule: never trade your dignity for an answer. If you have to beg for an explanation or fight for a reason to stay, stop fighting and start withdrawing. The simple formula for breakup power, decision plus silence, divided by no chasing, equals high value.